It is 7:30.
Perfect. All right.
Button.
We're ready to go. So we're going to open the public meeting. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the February 10th, 2026 meeting of the Milton Conservation Commission. Commission members are appointed by the Select Board to implement the rules and regulations of the State Wetlands Protection Act, as well as the regulations of the Milton Town Bylaw governing the wetlands. As a matter of formality, we invite all members of the public to speak, to be heard, ask questions, make comments, but we do ask that you identify yourself for the record. It is an open meeting, and that is an open public meeting. And we do ask that you identify yourself before speaking. Also, as a matter of formality, we introduce ourselves. My name is John Kiernan, and I'm a commission member. And I'm going to read right across the top. Philip, will you introduce yourself?
Philip Driscoll, Conservation Clerk.
And Arthur Doyle,
Arthur Doyle, Commission Member.
Charlie Bosworth,
Charlie Bosworth, Commission member.
Tom Palmer,
Tom Palmer, Commission Member.
Ingrid Beatty.
Ingrid Beatty, Commission Member.
And I think that's all we've got. We've got our quorum, so we're ready to go. First on the agenda is notice of intent at 1386 Canton Avenue. I think we have a presenter, but I'm not exactly sure who's going to do the presenting. Is there anybody here on behalf of 1386? This is Solomon Chodbury and Shante Acquisition LLC.
The
Proposed.
Shillingford
There.
home.
Wait a minute. Gerard Driscoll is supposed to be, but I don't see him in attendance.
All right. Why don't we hold that then, and we can come back to him. So we'll move on to item 2 on the agenda, which is alterations to the wetlands at 45 Riverside Avenue. This is continued from January 13th, 2026. And I think it was continued from December as well. Is there anybody here representing Mr. I think it's Hong Nguyen, who I believe is the deeded owner? And we have return receipt requested that he's been contacted and requested to appear at tonight's hearing to show cause why we should not. Well, we've already issued the enforcement order, so I guess it's to show cause why we should not implement the enforcement order and impose a fine. I don't see Mr. Nguyen or anybody on his behalf appearing. This is the third meeting that we've requested his attendance. There are two issues. One, the alterations. There was a building rehab, a house rehab that was done within our jurisdiction without a permit, either an RDA or a notice of intent. And we have additional cuttings of resource area, brush within the resource area across the street, actually on the water side of Riverside Drive. We've asked him twice by written mail to attend, and this is the third one, and this is by certified mail. On the last occasion, we did vote to issue an enforcement order, but we did not talk about any fines. I suggest at this point, and we also didn't record it at the Registry of Deeds. So at this time, I'd suggest that we.
So Jill, you did get a return receipt? You did
Yes,
get
we did.
You did. Okay, so he received
We
it.
did. We have the receipt.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
All right. So I would suggest that we now record the enforcement order. And I suggest that we impose a fine of $300. And I just say $300 because the regulations allow us to impose a fine $300 per day per violation. But I think it would be appropriate just to impose the fine and record that along with the enforcement order, which if the house is sold, or if there's an attempted sale, it will show up in the title run. And that might be enough of an incentive to come in. And then we can continue the case for another month and then reconsider whether or not the fine should be a daily fine. I think recording in the Registry of Deeds and a $300 fine should provide motivation to come in. If not, then we can revert to a daily fine. So that's my suggestion. Any comment on that as to what alternative approaches, or if that's the appropriate approach to take?
No, I think it's appropriate approach. Surprising if, he returned you got the return receipt. It seems like, we've made several attempts, and I think a $300 one-time fine implementation for a month, and then you're going to you're planning, is your suggestion to then after 30 days to reevaluate the fine amount?
Yes, right.
Okay, it seems appropriate to me.
Any thoughts, Charlie, Tom, Arthur?
I just have
I
one,
think it's
Mr. Chairman.
perfectly
I'm
fair.
sorry. Charlie,
I think it's very reasonable.
I agree, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to ask whether for future agenda items, we might have this topic identified as
An
major
enforcement order?
alteration. Item number 2, it says alterations to wetlands.
Yes.
Maybe in future agenda items, it would be alteration within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission and possible alterations. We don't know who did for sure those alterations across from the property.
That's a good point.
Correct.
So
All right.
just a thought.
That's good. Philip, can you just take that a note so on the
Sure.
March
Can
agenda?
you just repeat it, please?
I'm sorry, I cut you off there. I spoke. Can you say that again?
Arthur, can you repeat what you just said, please?
Yeah, the recording might be better than my memory, but it was along the lines of alteration. I'm sorry, construction within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission and possible alteration to the wetlands at 45 Riverside Avenue.
Okay.
That's good.
That do it?
It will.
do it.
I can
All right,
watch
so-
this tomorrow too.
All right. So, is there a motion to do just that? Number 1, to record the enforcement order. Number 2, to enforce or impose a $300 fine. And number 3, to once again send notice for an appearance at the March meeting. What's the date of the March meeting, Philip?
March 10th.
March 10th. All right. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Ingrid. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Any comment? Actually, any comment from abutters, members of the public? Seeing no hands raised and hearing nothing. Any further discussion among commission members? Hearing none, we'll take a voice vote. Arthur, how do you vote?
Ingrid has her hand up, Mr. Chairman.
I do have
Oh, yeah.
Quick question. Is there any indication that there is a language or comprehension issue?
I don't know that. I'm assuming no, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I'm assuming that there was a building permit issued. So
I see.
communication sufficient with the building department, but not the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
All right, so there's been some communication with the municipality.
All right. Understood.
Any other discussion? Then we'll take the voice vote. Arthur, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tom Palmer, how do you vote?
We're voting to issue an enforcement order.
No, we already issued the enforcement order
Excuse me. Yeah, okay.
last month.
Right.
So the motion is to record the enforcement order at the Registry of Deeds. Number 1. Number 2, to impose a fine of $300. And number 3, to once again invite the owner to our March 10th meeting and send another certified letter to him.
Thank you. Yeah, I vote yes.
Okay. Ingrid, how do you vote?
Yes.
Charlie, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. Thank you. That's number 2. I haven't, did 1386 show up? I'm not exactly sure who's presenting for
Gerard
1386.
Driscoll, I believe, but I don't see him on the list.
Okay, fair enough. We'll move on to number 3, which is notice of intent Randolph Avenue parcel L411 and L412. Whomever is presenting, come forward, please, and welcome. Ryan.
Hi, good evening. I think Nate with LEC Environmental Consultants is also on.
Oh, great.
Nate, if you had something prepared to start.
Nate, you're on mute.
That would help. All right. Good evening, everybody. For the record, Nate Goshgarian with LEC Environmental. Nice to see everybody again. Presenting on behalf of the applicant tonight, the project we are presenting is a notice of intent for the construction of a single-family dwelling and driveway located within the 100-foot buffer zone to IBW as protected under the Milton bylaw. At this point, I'd like to request permission to share my screen, please.
That's perfect. Philip, I don't know if you can help him or not, or if you need any help, Nate. I'm not sure.
I can see the share button here. Let's see. You see the
There you
aerial?
go.
There you go.
Good
Well,
start.
Okay, so this is an aerial of our locus. This is actually comprised of 2 distinct lots coming in at about 2.28 acres. It is located east of Randolph Avenue, west of Granite Links Boulevard, and vehicular access is afforded via this 33-foot wide right-of-way, which extends east from Randolph Avenue. In terms of site composition, the southerly site is predominantly comprised of horse paddocks and lawn, while the northern portion of the site is predominantly comprised of forested upland. That said, the wetland resources located on or within 100 feet of this site include 2 IBWs located generally in this vicinity, and I'll go over them in a little more detail in a moment on the plans. And we also have a vernal pool located off-site right here.
Right where? I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Right in here. So right outside the property line right here.
I'm losing your cursor. That might be my eyesight.
I'm sorry. Let me zoom in a little bit.
You
Any
can
better?
see it a lot better on the map.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I've got it here. Okay.
Okay, let me zoom in so it's right in the center.
John, this might be a vernal pool that we have seen before.
Yes,
Oh, sure is.
when Joe Kathleen was
well.
being developed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
I
right.
have a memory.
Certified by Matt Byrne. Absolutely.
I was,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I was just going to suggest to the presenter that
Yes.
an alternative map might be
Sure.
more helpful, and that's the one.
Let's do that. I've got
You know the one I mean?
Can you see this one any better? Can you see
No,
my
the one I
cursor?
meant was because the
The
architect's
site
map.
plan,
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Back
All
up
right,
one.
switching
There you
to the
go.
plan.
There you go.
So this is exactly what we're looking at. Same geographic orientation. North is up. What I'd like to point out here are the 2 IBWs that I had just mentioned. This is the smaller B series IBW to the north, and then a larger A series IBW to the south. LEC actually delineated these quite a few years ago for an eventual ORAD issuance in 2012. So because of that kind of historic timeline, we went out back last year and rehung flags for the purposes of this filing. So also on the plan, we've got the 25-foot no disturb zone in red, and in blue, we have the 100-foot buffer zone, which again is projecting from the IBW.
And at 2 o'clock is the vernal pool.
Yep, and vernal pool is right up here. In
Good.
black, we've got the limit of work demarcated, which is going to be installed up gradient of the 25-foot buffer zone. And then in terms of what the project actually proposes, we're proposing a house, a garage, an attached garage, both to be constructed on slab foundation. We've got a proposed driveway. We've got a proposed stone patio, a small plunge pool, and then we've got a sloped boulder retaining wall. And obviously we can see the 100-foot buffer zone demarcated in blue. And so a portion of the proposed house, a portion of the garage, as well as the patio, the plunge pool, and the retaining wall are all located in the 100-foot buffer zone. Now, because this portion of the project right here is extending north into the forested upland, there is some tree removal that's proposed with this project. So what we did on the plans is we basically demarcated three series of trees in green, blue, or red, along with the DBH or the caliper size. And if I scroll over to the right on the plan, we can quickly go over what those colors actually mean. So the trees that are demarcated in green are to remain and be protected as needed. The trees that are demarcated in blue are intended to remain, but may need to be removed as site work progresses. And the trees that are in red are to be removed as a result of construction or because they are invasive. And by invasive, we're talking about Norway maple or tree of heaven. So that's just kind of a general overview. A couple other items I'd like to point out about this project is dry wells will be installed to collect roof runoff, and the dwelling will tie into municipal sewer and water. The last item I'd like to briefly go over to give you kind of a better depiction of what we're actually dealing with in terms of the quality of the site are a couple of pictures. The first picture right here is taken, I don't know if you can see my cursor, in the southerly lot, right in the central portion of the southerly lot, looking west. So what we're seeing here is the horse paddocks with that forested upland in this vicinity, where those trees are proposed to be removed, and basically the footprint of the house in this location. In other words, kind of the historic lawn. And then the next shot is at the southerly extent of the southern IVW looking north, and is really just to kind of depict how bouldery this actually is. And one thing I didn't mention is that in the installation of the limit of work, which is going to go upgrading of the IVW, obviously, some of these boulders are going to have to be removed through excavation. They are going to subsequently be repurposed for the construction of that sloped boulder retaining wall. So with that, I will hand it back over. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Let me ask you that. Do you have specs on the swimming pool and plunge pool? And what I'm referring to, I won't make you guess, but we're generally in favor of closed. I call it closed circuit, so there's no backwash discharge of chlorinated or bromide water going in near the wetlands. And it's easy to dodge. You just have a closed system and you use a cartridge filtration, so there's no backwash.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Ryan, I might defer you on this question.
Yep. The pool has not been designed to that level of detail yet. We sort of just placed the footprint. But if you guys wanted to condition some sort of system, I think we'd be open to that.
All right. It's usually not an issue, but yeah, we do condition pools so that we're not discharging, water with chemicals back into the resource area.
Absolutely.
And can you put the screen, the plan back up? Because
Sure thing.
one of the issues is I want to be very sensitive to where the drainage is going, because the access here is off the access road, correct?
Correct.
Oh, isn't it a right of
And-
way?
No, yeah,
Right of way.
the right of way goes toward the access road, but it's not off the access road, Mr. Chairman.
So where does the right of way, is this,
It connects with Randolph Avenue.
Correct.
so is that the existing driveway?
That is.
Okay. Because I know, we've got projects going all over the place here. And one of the big issues, and I happened to attend a meeting of the planning board, the planning director for the town and the town engineer on 728 project, number 728. And one of the issues that I brought up is that across the street, across Randolph Avenue, we did a change order approval because they changed some of the drainage. Now, I understand I'm talking about the other side of Randolph Avenue, and we've got watersheds, water's going every which way at this point. But I wanted to ensure that I know there were drainage pipes going down that driveway, that right of way, and intersecting with a drainage pipe that runs basically north-south under Randolph Avenue. and it ties in there. And about a year and a half ago, we had a change order come in from 7-Eleven Randolph, the 40B project across the street, and they changed their discharge pipe there. And I want to make sure that the capacity of that drain pipe is sufficient to carry everything, including the change in the discharge from 7-Eleven plus the discharge from 728. So I don't know if you're tying in there or if you're putting an overburden on that drainage. I say pipe. I don't know where your drainage is going there. And the other thing is that one of the sensitive areas for us is the intersection of the access road, where the gate is right now. Well, right at the intersection of Access Road and Randolph Avenue. There's a pipe diagonally heading south or southeast, I guess, from 7-Eleven, and it's discharging right at that intersection corner on the south side of the access road. And that's also where 728 is discharging water. So again, it's an overburden situation. I don't know where the drainage, because you're building impervious surface here. So that water's got to go somewhere. So I just want to pay particular attention to where that water, whether it's, underground or if it's surface water, or where's it going? And how do we ensure ourselves that we're not going to overburden the town's drainage system?
So the roof runoff is all going to be tied into dry wells, kind of located around the building. The driveway, we could sort of pitch that to a low point and just have it collect in sort of like a little grass pool, as opposed to, just letting it shed, down that driveway. But in terms of like the drainage pipes that were mentioned, we don't have, we inquired with the town about, all the utilities in the area, and we weren't sent any drainage pipes within the right of way. There is a sewer line that extends up the right of way, but there weren't any drainage pipes sent to us. So I don't think we're certainly not tying into the town's drainage system.
Okay.
So I don't think we'd compromise that at all.
All right. And can you give us some calculations that show that whatever the roof runoff calculations are, that the
Yeah.
dry wells will be sufficient to contain that? And it shouldn't be a problem because, at worst, you'd have to put in some Cultec chambers to, capture it and slow it down. But
Yeah.
it is an issue that came up with the planning director and the engineering department just within the last month.
There's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
called OHW on the plan. What is that? It looks like a line under the driveway.
It stands for overhead wire.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
Okay.
John, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, I'm inviting questions.
Were the photos you showed us taken when the wetlands were flagged?
So those would have been taken likely after or at the same time, probably coincident, roughly to when they were flagged.
Was that last May? I think I read that.
It was last year. That's correct.
Was it in the May? Was it in the spring?
So I don't know specifically what month. Like certainly I could find out.
You weren't there.
Yeah,
I
we
was
do
not
note it on
there.
our plan as being, we field located them in May, at least.
You were there?
I wasn't personally, but our surveyors were. So I would assume LEC likely flagged them in May, maybe end of April. But
Yeah, the bordering vegetated wetlands determination form gives a date of May 8th, 25.
okay.
Right.
Did you make any determination about whether these isolated wetlands, as you call them, are vernal pools?
Certainly that would have kind of been built into the delineation, as evidenced by the fact that they're not demarcated as vernal pools. I would be, inclined to think that. certainly with the demarcation of the vernal pool to the northeast, contrasting with the other ones.
But didn't you just borrow that from another plan?
What, the vernal pool?
Yeah, on the other lot.
It's possible. I don't know if it's mapped by natural heritage, and that's how it was imported onto the plan. Although that said, it is off-site,
Right.
and nothing being proposed on this is within 100 feet of that. That's for sure.
Well, when you go to delineate a wetland, you can't flag a vernal pool just by looking at soils and vegetation. The definition rests on other features, namely
Right.
the habitat quality, the depth of the water, the presence or absence of certain critters. So I don't really get the feeling that that determination was made. I mean, it wasn't stated in the letter. Do you know how much water was in there last May?
I don't personally, but I am, I show the picture in a reflection of kind of capturing the characteristic of this. And as a wetland scientist who admittedly wasn't there for this doesn't strike me, but certainly I can find out from the person who actually did flag this. And I'm extremely confident that was integrated in part of their investigation when they flagged these IVWs.
Well,
Arthur here on that point, it may be helpful. Somewhere in here, I think I read 1 inch.
a water?
Yes.
Because last spring, if you may remember, was pretty dry. I remember vernal pools that I'm familiar with were lower than average. I hear what you're saying. I would say that, to me, I don't think we can review these flags until the snow is gone and the ground is thawed, because that's the only way we'll have access to soils, for instance. And I'm just not comfortable until I see it for myself.
Well, I think a site visit is appropriate, Tom. And you're right.
I think we have to wait until we can see the ground.
Right, and on another project for the town, our engineer friends from Northeastern and Marina Fernandez, the DPW director and former town engineer, and I agreed that we'd postpone the next site visit until March 6th, Friday the 6th, because of the snow. So, you're right. We're not going to be able to see anything until the snow is gone. But I do others on the commission think that we should have a site walk? I do. It's a very sensitive area for us. We've actually been up there, and we've we've had a number of trips to the area, going back to the development of what's the name of the street coming off of Pleasant Street, between Bent's and
Jill
Reedsdale.
Kathleen.
Yeah, Kathleen, that's it, right. And I remember this vernal pool was pretty significant. And Nate, I apologize. This is my eyesight, but does the map here? I was looking for it in the packet, but does the map have a measurement from that? I believe you said it's over 100 feet, but we do have a bylaw that there's a non-disturbance zone 100 feet from a vernal pool.
Yep.
Can you just, if it's not there, can you add that a distance?
Sure.
Okay. And the property line doesn't mean anything to us. It's a distance
Right.
from the pool.
It's on that plan, John.
It's what?
It's the blue circle in the upper right corner is the 100 feet from the vernal pool. It's drawn on the plan. Do you see that blue circle?
Right.
That's in the upper right.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. I've got it. So it's going right through the wetland.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. So it's already there. All right. Thank you. That's what I couldn't see.
If you went back to that aerial, you can see the vernal pool on the aerial.
Yeah.
You see outside,
yes.
outside the red polygon. Yeah, right there.
I see it.
Like it. Right. It's darker. It's got water in it. And it looks different than what's on the lot itself. So that does suggest that that's deeper water than is in the wetland.
There was substantial water in that vernal pool a couple weeks ago when we were there. We staked out the house and the limit of work, assuming that the commission would want to do a site walk. So all of that is staked out so you can see it, in relation to the wetland flags that are out there.
I think the ground has to be thawed for us to do the site visit because soils will be important. And if they're frozen, we won't know anything about them.
What's the, and I know the wetland flags that were up, Arthur, did you say May of 25?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just, I agree with you. We need to, check the soils. But this is our normal protocol, Nate. So we're not trying to slow you down.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, everything is
But
reasonable.
it is our normal procedure to actually view the flags and approve the placement of the flags.
Right.
And I don't think it's, even if we move some flags, it looks like you're well outside that, which is most sensitive to us, the 25-foot demarcation non-disturbance zone. That's kind of a big deal to us.
Right. Okay.
All right. Any other comments? And if we continue for a site walk, which you'd have to agree to, of course, I would like to get the pool specs at the time. And I don't think that it should be a problem. And I actually don't think it's much of a cost factor either. This enclosed cartridge filtration system. I think they're pretty much market competitive, a pool for a pool. We just don't want that chlorinated water getting discharged into the wetlands.
Okay.
Questions from commission members?
John, it's Charlie. If I might add, if they're coming back in front of the board, it'd be interesting to know where the dry wells are going to be located that will pick up the roof runoff, and whatever catch basin or dry well design they intend to use to pick up the proposed driveway runoff. Now, I'll say that the grading, they did a great job on the physical grading of the lot. They're really not changing the direction of the flow very much at all. And it seems to all be ending up in the same spot as it is pre-design. So I think that part of it is spot on. I'd just be interested to know where the dry wells are going to go before we sign off on anything.
Okay, so if we're making notes, we've got the roof runoff calculations to make sure that the dry wells are sufficient to receive that amount of runoff. As Charlie said, the location of the dry well.
If I may,
go ahead.
we had shown some dry wells on our plan, but after visiting the site and seeing all the ledge, outcrop and stuff like that, I think they're really going to have to be sort of field located based on some exploratory excavation. So we can certainly, design some dry wells and put them on the plan, but they may in fact, sort of get moved around a little bit.
Well, my suggestion would be to spec out what size dry well you're going to use and just locate them on the as-built.
Okay. That makes sense.
That would be my suggestion, John.
Yeah, no, that makes good sense, Charlie.
Can we see the photo of the boulder field again?
Sure.
When they built the shelter, the animal shelter not far from here, it was also slab on grade because they didn't want the expense of the blasting for a foundation. As you look at this stone here, does that look to you like a natural surface, or does that look like does that look like grout from quarries is what I'm saying? Is that Is that rock that was dragged out of a quarry, or is it rock that is just there?
Yeah, so I would be inclined to think the latter.
Gotcha. Yeah, maybe
Quarry.
we'll get a better idea when we're there.
Yeah.
There's
Tom,
probably quarries nearby.
if I may just add to that, it's sort of a combination of the two, but with the dominance being uh, from test pits where they tried to find out whether or not an area was a potential quarry.
Huh.
And in some of the locations in the past, Tom, we looked at some of those areas that were tested to see whether or not they had in turn become vernal pools. And the only one that was identifiable in that whole area was the one that's on the map. That
Gotcha.
Okay. Is there anything else? Well, yeah, I don't want to be too much of an optimist as to when the warm weather will come. Do you want to set a date for a site inspection or um,
John, I think it needs
put
to
it
be
on the agenda
after.
for next?
It has to be after April 1st if we want it to be thawed out and snow off.
All right. Well, I'm trying to make less work for people, but I agree that we've got to be realistic with Mother Nature, and it may well be in April. Our next meeting is the 10th. First of all, are there any other questions from the commission members? And seeing none, what about members of the public, abutters, or citizens, or anybody? I want to give you an opportunity to be heard in these. But I don't see any. So we've got our list of things. I'm sorry, somebody?
Yeah, this is Dave Michaelis. I'm in a butter at 7 Joe Kathleen Lane.
Oh, perfect. Welcome, David.
Thank you. I don't know if this is the forum for this, but our property has a lot of issues with underground water. And I don't know if that's a consideration here, if there's been, any kind of subsurface flow mapping, if there's been consideration of if the fill placement will block existing shallow groundwater pathways. Are there issues with the retaining wall acting as a subsurface dam or that water flowing into the properties that abut the build site? So that's kind of our main concern over here.
Fair question. Certainly a reasonable concern. Nate, can you respond? Has any consideration been given to that? And I know we've got a lot of experience there with the animal shelter and the 40B project. We've got and the development of Katie Lane as well.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the thoughtful comment. I think in this case I may defer to Ryan. If you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would just say that, it's a slab on grade design that, there's no basement here. We're not going to be displacing, any natural groundwater flows. The boulder retaining wall is, more or less just a reconsolidation of the stone that's already there. It's just sort of getting restacked. It's not going to be embedded in the ground at all. The stones, I think once you guys see the site, you'd have a better understanding. But the stones are massive. It's going to take quite a lot of work to just move some of them, and the size of them alone are going to hold them in place. And I think one of the other commission members noted the grading is, trying to mimic the natural flows of the surface runoff, as best we can. So I wouldn't think there'd be any adverse impacts to abutters with this project.
What about the subsurface water flows? Those are some big boulders there. Is that a potential issue? That you redirect water flows anywhere?
No, I mean I don't. The wall itself is not all that big, and it's not going to be, we're not excavating out the ground to put the wall in. It's not going to be a formed concrete wall or anything. It's a restacking of the rocks that are already there is what we're trying to do. Yep.
So it's kind of a surface area thing, not a you're not digging down into the ground and building out those boulders.
That's correct.
Okay. And then I guess on the dry wells, I know you said field placement might be a field placement issue, but if you encounter bedrock or slate or what happens then? Is that the answer? Is it just we have to decide in the field and where they go, they can go, and the discharge goes where it can go?
Yeah, well, I can say that we're not going to cite them in the direction of the wetland. They'd probably be on, the side of the right of way, or there's a large area, off the edge of the driveway that's, appears to be, nice ground. There's some grass growing there. So, we're gonna place these in a spot that's not going to, direct runoff to any a butter or anything like that. Um, but yeah, it will sort of need to be a field placement with the dry wells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the time, and apologies if those were novice questions. I'm new at this.
No, I thought they were
Great questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As I look at the plan, it's not obvious to me which way the water flows under existing conditions or where it leaves the lot. It's just not, it seems to be flat and rocky overall and doesn't seem to have a low side. So I couldn't tell you where water would flow on this lot.
Well, Tom, I mean, is there anything that we'd have from the Kitty Lane drainage plans that would indicate that? Do you know? We've got the access road drainage pretty well down at this juncture because of the animal shelter, and we've been up there several times on that very issue. And I was originally concerned that the drainage was going to go off to, more drainage on the surface of the access road, but it looks like it's going to go on the drive, what I call the driveway, the easement.
I really don't know. I see, a big piece of the lot is a wetland, but I don't see anywhere where the water flows out of the wetland.
Well, the plans have some pretty clear elevation lines in spot grades on them.
Yes.
And I think if we take, Tom, like to the right of the proposed dwelling, the elevation is 138 now. They're simply moving the 138 contour line, appears to be about 20 feet off the building. So that's not redirecting.
Hey, Charlie?
Yeah.
I lost you for a while. It might have been just me, but you froze for me for a while. Could you just repeat the last two sentences?
Yeah, John, I was just explaining that the contour lines that are pretty clear on the drawings. If you started to the right of the dwelling, right at the corner of the dwelling, the existing grade is 138, 139. They're only moving that contour line over 20 feet, essentially to the east. And then they're leveling off the rear of the house. They're basically carrying out the 138 grade that exists there now out another 15 or 20 feet and slowly dropping down to elevation 136, 134. And then it flows to the natural runoff. They're not the other parts of the property are not being regraded. So they're directing the water in the proposed plan to the exact same location within 15 or 20 feet of the existing conditions plan. So there's no change on the surface directional flow on this drawing.
I get what you're saying, Charlie. But if there were an increase in flow because of an increase in impervious, you would expect that to be felt somewhere downhill. And it looks like downhill from the house is the big wetland. So where does that wetland discharge, if anywhere? That's where you would feel an increase in flow. I think.
Tom, Arthur, a question. When you said, are
Yeah.
you referring to the wetland on the map that we just reviewed?
Yeah, on the one that's outlined in
Yeah,
with WF flags.
but all wetlands don't have to have an outlet.
That's right. It could be that it doesn't have one.
Right. Good.
I
And
don't
I
know.
think that's the case here. I used to hang around up there with friends when I was a younger man, let's say. Much younger.
Yeah, Tom, it appears on the north side of that wetland that it actually steps up to elevation 132 and a half from 130 in the wetland area. So, Arthur, it looks I'd have to agree with you. Maybe there is no specific outlet for this wetland.
I just remember them
Yeah.
from years ago, when we were in junior high school. The girls were up there in the paddocks, and guys, of course, went where the girls were. It was funny. The girls went where the horses were, and the guys went where the girls were, and they were sort of isolated pockets of wetland.
Uh-huh.
I guess on those lines, is there a possibility that there's an increase to the underground water flow? And the only reason I ask is we have a significant amount of water flowing through our basement when the spring comes. And
Where is your lot? I don't know.
we're 7 Jill Kathleen Lane.
Yeah, I guess it's not on the plan. The closest one is 9.
Yeah, we're right next to that. I don't know if it made the cutoff of the plan, but I think as we understand it, when our house was built, there was some kind of underground brook or something that was built on top of.
But your house has a basement, right?
It does.
Yeah. It would be hard to build a basement anywhere on this lot, I think. You would just have to blast it out of the rock. I don't know. I would guess that whatever water flow is going through seams in the bedrock rather than through a layer of soil.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other thoughts or questions? I'll do this for convenience sake. I think Tom is right that it's probably not going to make any sense until close to April. But I don't want to lose track of this, and I don't want to slow it down. So we can put it on the agenda just as kind of a holding place for March 10th. But to be honest with you, the only thing you could do at that time is give us some of the data that we're looking for, the runoff calculations and the pool filter specs. And you've already addressed the locus of the dry wells. And I appreciate what you said, and I think Kelly did as well. Do you want to put it on for the 10th or wait until do you want to set an April date?
Suggestion, Mr. Chairman?
I pass that out to everybody. Yes, sir.
Might we
Go ahead.
consider the site walk sometime between the 1st of April, date mentioned by Tom, and our April meeting, which is Tuesday the 14th, so that this would be an agenda item for bringing to conclusion one way or another at the 14th meeting in April? So we have
right. That's the intent. That was the intent of what I was saying. I don't know whether to set the date now or wait until March 10th to set it. We can set it now if that's agreeable with everybody. No, you're right on the money. You're perfect. Let's set a date for the site inspection now.
If I may,
Saturday the 4th or Saturday the 11th. The 4th would give us a little bit more of a window, but it's closer to April 4th or April 11th are Saturdays.
4th is fine with me, but Ryan, you had a comment.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I know we'd love to just at least continue this to the March meeting, to give you the extra information you're looking for, and maybe we have a warm spell and the snow melts and we can get out there sooner. That would be what I think, the applicant would like to do. Because we do want to stay on top of this. We don't want to
that's fair.
Okay.
Well, why don't we set 2 dates? The April 4th will be sort of tentative, and then we'll put it on the agenda for March 10th. And at that time, if the weather looks good enough, we can advance the site walk. That makes sense to everybody?
Yes.
All right, so we'll put it on the agenda for the 10th. So we'll continue the matter until then with the assent of the applicant. And then we'll set a tentative date for a site walk on April 4th, Saturday. And we usually start at 8:30 in the morning. We can park, I don't know, I guess we can get some cars up the right of way, correct?
Yes.
And we could get some at the entrance to is that open now or the gate locked still?
It's open because they have to go to the animal shelter.
Okay, all right. So we'll find a place to park. We'll get there.
There should be plenty of space on site to park too. There's a big loop driveway, all under the same ownership. So.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yep.
fair enough. All right, we good? Is that acceptable to everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll see you on the 10th of March. All right.
Thanks for your time.
All right.
everybody.
Thank you very much for your attendance. I appreciate it.
Good night.
Next on the agenda is, well, let me go back. Anybody for 1386 yet?
Not
See
that I
anybody,
can see now.
Okay, then we'll go on to number 4, request for determination applicability, 42 Central Avenue. Do we have a presenter?
Yes, present.
Oh,
Karen
good.
Skinner-Catroni.
Hey, Karen.
Hi,
Welcome.
how are you?
Good. Tell us what about your application.
Would you like me to share my screen and show you the
That
plan?
would be great. That would be perfect. Thank you.
I apologize. This is a busy plan.
It
Can
is.
everybody see that?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, great. So for the record, my name is Karen Skinner-Catroni. I delineated the site on September 22, 2025. Only riverfront area was flagged. The river's obviously back here. The owners are requesting only to build up. They're only going up. They're putting a second story on the house. And the existing impervious currently is 4,220 square feet. The proposed is 4,279. So there's going to be an additional 59 square feet added to the impervious.
And
There's
is
an
that the
easement.
balcony?
That's the balcony, yes.
Okay, thanks.
So there is an easement that runs along the left side of the property. There'll be no new work within that easement. There is floodplain on the site. It runs. So this line here is where the floodplain is. The elevation is 25. Let's see. It's oops, whoops. Sorry about that. It's 25.6. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. Basically, they're going up, and that's it. Just that 59 square feet. That's the balcony footings.
I don't see that floodplain line.
So it's
Where is it
right
again?
here. So see this note right here?
Yes,
Okay. See the arrow
Gotcha.
pointing? Runs right
Right.
there. Okay.
Oh,
So-
yeah, right through the
Erosion.
house.
Yeah. Erosion control is shown here. And that would be a compost sock and silt fence.
So the
obviously
floodplain
there's-
line, does it go along the foundation of the house?
No, it goes right through the house.
Go through the middle of the house.
But that's kind of weird because we know the house is up high. At least the roof is. But that's how they drew them, huh? I mean, it seems odd that they would say that half the house is in the 100-year floodplain, but that is what they're saying, right?
Mhm.
That's what they're saying. Yep. So it's the
Okay.
AE zone.
Right. I got you.
Yeah.
But no fill is proposed in that area.
No,
Instead of just going up.
just going up. Yep. So that there's a mudroom here going up, and that the house here. That's it. Just going up.
One of the issues that we have sometimes is not with the applicant or the owner, but the contractor. And we do try to be very careful about heavy equipment being stored overnight in our jurisdiction. And you're awfully close to Pine Tree Brook. What do you anticipate for machinery in terms of boom trucks? Or you're going up, so how are the workers getting up?
So probably ladders, I would imagine, but they can just use the driveway as the driveway runs back to the garage. So the existing driveway could be used for,
I know that's the problem that we typically have because we don't allow overnight storage or refueling of equipment within our jurisdiction, and that
You
happens to
can
be
make that a condition.
200 feet from that. So
Yeah.
it's a contractor issue. That's one of our special conditions that we always include.
Okay, that's fine.
Karen, I'm assuming the only excavation is for the footings,
The footings, yep, 59 square feet.
and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there shouldn't be any use for any reason for heavy equipment to be there.
right.
Sounds like it'll
Right.
all be labor.
Hmm.
Yeah, Charlie,
Okay.
that's why I asked the question. I didn't know if you needed a boom truck or some kind of a scissor lift or something to get up
Yeah,
on
I'm
it.
sure they'll deliver drywall with a boom lift or some lumber, John, but they're usually there for 10 minutes. Looks like the rest of this is good old fashioned grunt work.
Okay. All right. Like the old days.
Yep.
All right. Any questions from other commissioners or comments? I don't hear any. How about abutters, members of the public, citizens, interested parties? I don't see any, and I don't hear any. Um, uh, Karen, could you take your screen down?
Absolutely, yep.
I can see the other people that I hear. No, I don't see any hands raised at all. Hey, Wendy. Hey, welcome.
Hey, John. Hey,
You made
everyone.
it.
Thank you.
Hey, good. You made it. So, Philip, make sure you make a record that Wendy arrived.
I will.
So it looks like there's not any reason to require a notice of intent in this case, and a negative determination of the RDA is appropriate with the conditions, at least the one that we don't have storage overnight or refueling within our jurisdiction. Any other questions or comments about special conditions on it? That would be a negative determination of the RDA with the conditions of no overnight storage and refueling. Any other?
Can I make a remark? Karen, do you have any photos of the backyard or the brook there?
I don't have any. I do not. I have an aerial if you want to see that of the area.
You were there though, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the bank of the brook looked like?
Yeah, is it, I think a channel. It's a
There's big sections of it
It's
that are
stone.
channeled.
it's stone, yeah.
Yeah, Tom,
it
we were there a
vertical?
lot for 36 Central Ave. We were there a
Yeah,
lot.
I don't think I was there.
Okay.
It's just a hidden area that I'm not,
It is.
I don't have any, I've never seen it, so I'm just curious. It is odd that the whole backyard and half the building is in the floodplain. That would worry me. I mean, if I was thinking of buying that house, I would think, does the backyard flood? And how often does it flood? Do you
There's
know
a pretty
anything
good
about
bank
that?
there. There's a pretty good bank there. I don't think it
Yeah.
would flood. Yeah.
All right. Well, I was just curious. I agree that we're ready to issue a negative determination with conditions.
All right. Any other thoughts, abutters, members of the public, commission members? All right. Is there a motion to issue a negative determination with the special conditions of no overnight storage of heavy equipment. And when I say heavy equipment, motorized hydraulic equipment, and no refueling within our jurisdiction. And I hear no other special conditions. So is there such a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Arthur. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Charlie. Any discussion among commission members? Hearing none, I'll go across the top. Arthur, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
Wendy, I don't know if you were here for the whole hearing or not.
I don't think I was, John. So I guess technically I can't, but I would like to vote yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, I, John Cannon, vote yes as well. So you've got a negative determination with the special conditions as indicated.
Great.
Karen,
Thank you very much.
Grateful
Thank
for
you.
your
Have a good night.
appearance. You too.
Good night.
Good night.
Philip, just if you spot, is it Gerard? Who's coming, Gerard?
No, he hasn't arrived yet. Gerard Driscoll has not come.
Okay, so we now go to this is 702, and apologies to the public because it says 402 Blue Hill Avenue on our agenda, but it's actually 702 Blue Hill Avenue. And who was going to make the presentation for that?
John
Mr.
Walsh.
Walsh? Hey, good. Welcome, sir.
Good day, sir. And
Good day to both
good
of
day,
you.
ladies.
All right, tell us what you would like to do.
Well, we found ourselves in a position here where when we purchased this house, it did not meet Title V requirements. And the previous owner took it upon themselves to replace the septic system and gain all the permissions and permits. And we are now in the position of trying to sell a house. We found out that the title is missing the orders of compliance from the certificate of compliance. Pardon me if I stumble with the term, but the
Yeah, that's
certificate
perfectly
of
all right. I do.
compliance from the Conservation Commission. So we are trying to get the certificate of compliance for our septic system, which has passed Title V again this year, so we can move on to our new residence.
All right. Well, I was interested to note that I signed the order back in 1999, so it's legit. It's legit. I was there.
So you can
You're lucky day.
so you can tell me everything I need to know about it, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Gee-hoo.
By the way, I've got an audience here, as you've heard.
Yeah, the one thing that we require, you have provided, and we need an attestation from a professional engineer. And I'm looking at the one from Lawrence Silver, and it says that I certify that the sewage disposal facility is in substantial compliance with the regulations, et cetera, as approved by the Board of Health. So that's actually what we need for the certificate of compliance. So there may be some questions from commission members or folks in the citizenry. Any questions?
So are we good to go?
I think we're good to go. We have to have a vote. So I have to wait for that. Okay. But
I'm looking at the plan that was submitted with a request, and it has an engineer saying that the new system was built the way the Board of Health approved. So it seems like this is overdue.
yes, that's the one by Lawrence Silver,
Yes.
the as-built plan. I agree.
Could I have a question for the Walshes?
Yes,
This is a very long and narrow lot, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah, and when you come in from 138, you go down in a little sort of low flat area, then you drive up again. Is that so?
When you come off of 138, you drop down, you hit a slow slope, probably 10-degree, and then when you get to the house, you're on level ground.
Do you ever have water on the driveway?
No, sir.
I say that because on the other side of 138 is an area that you see ducks in sometimes. And it's part of this same lowland. And I don't know if you've ever looked at a relief map of the town of Milton, but I would say that once upon a time, the Neponset River flowed across your driveway. Now, I know that sounds bizarre, but if you look at a map, you will see from Paul's Bridge, going through Curry College, across 138 where you are, and then in the town brook, there's this big flat trench that curves. And if you were to dig anywhere in that trench, I think you would find a lot of gravel. So I'm kind of wondering why it was that your septic never ever failed anything, because I would guess that your lot has a lot of gravel under it, which is really good for perking. Do you know why it was that your old septic system way back needed to be upgraded?
Unfortunately, I wasn't part of the negotiations of the new septic system because it was done through the previous owner, the Brascos. So I was kind of, what happened was there was an escrow in held while the septic was being done.
Well, to me, you have a very interesting lot because of this history, but I'm sorry to take you so far afield.
Okay.
No, I actually appreciate that. That's great.
All right. So is there a motion to issue the certificate of compliance?
So moved.
So moved.
Go ahead.
All right. So I'll take Arthur is the motion and Tom will take yours as the second. Any discussion among commission members? Hearing none. Arthur, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tom, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ingrid?
Yes.
Wendy?
Yes.
Charlie?
Yes.
And I, John Kiernan, vote yes as well. So you're good to go. Your closing is coming up, right? The 27th of the month?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good for you. All right. So you've got it. Stay in touch with Philip, and he'll make sure you get what you need to give, because I'm sure the conveyancing attorneys will need a copy of this. And you know how to get in touch with Philip?
I do. I'm in good touch with
Okay.
him. He's been very helpful in getting us to where we are today. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Philip, for being easy to get in touch with. That's good. That helps. All right. Thank you both very much. All right.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you.
So we are now at the end of our agenda, are we not? Unless we can find.
No,
what's
it's just
what's the-
members now.
What's that?
We just have the commissioners. We have nobody else on the call.
Okay, so 1386. Why don't we put it all off until the March meeting, March 10th? All right, that was a no-show. Wendy, because we called that first, number one on the agenda. Nobody came to make a presentation.
Oh, the one about the ADU?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, and I had a question on it because
I was real curious about that.
the description says that build a new 4-bedroom apartment, a house, and then they were going to rehab the existing house. But on the plan, I don't see that. I just see the new house.
You can have the John, if I may, the ADU can be within the one structure. It's possible for an ADU to be a separate entity, and it's possible for it to be within a primary structure.
No, that I understand. But in their narrative description, they said they're building a new 4-bedroom house, and then they're rehabbing the existing house as an ADU. I believe that's what the narrative said.
Yeah, that's what
I saw that too, but it's not on the.
It didn't look like that on the plan.
That's right. I agree.
Right. I know.
That's why I was wondering if it wasn't in.
I believe the existing dwelling is on the plan. It's incredibly faint. I had to get a magnifying glass out.
That's the problem.
To see it.
Ah, good. You're a good sleuth.
Yeah.
No, looking at plans for this long, Arthur, I have a magnifying glass at all times. I can't see anything anymore.
Nobody gets by with anything, right?
Is it a different?
who can explain why the existing house is so faint on the plan?
Don't know. But is it a different location, Charlie?
Yes.
No,
it is.
the existing house is staying where it is. They haven't moved it. They've just put this much larger dwelling right in front of it. And you can't really see how they're connecting because the lines are so faint. They are really, really faint. It almost looks like a coffee stain.
Okay. All right.
It's almost, to me, my thought was they're trying to hide that there's already a house there. But that's probably not what happened.
100 years.
It does say in their narrative that they're rehabbing the existing home. So,
yeah.
All right. All right. So just put that on for the 10th. And Philip, if you could reach out to Gerard and just say you need to be in attendance to make your presentation.
Sure.
You want to ask them for a clearer map too, John?
Yes.
For sure. Yeah.
Engineering plan?
Clearer
Yeah, that would be
engineering
very
plan?
helpful, Arthur. Good point.
I think there's lines, wetland lines on this lot. And like the other one, we really shouldn't try to review them until after April 1st.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
This is a pretty sensitive area because we spent a lot of time up there at, what, 1365? I think 1362 or 1365. We spent some time up there.
This is a secluded area, and it's only accessed from the Eustis driveway. You drive up to the Eustis parking lot, and their driveway starts from that parking lot.
Can't you get there by the Suffolk Resolve's house?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you?
That's the one you're talking about.
Right back.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. Yeah. So, Philip, if you could just give me a heads up, new map and new date, and we probably will want to do a site visit, and we can schedule the site visit on the 10th of March.
Okay. John, somebody just came into the meeting, Len G.
Okay.
I don't know who they are.
All right. Let's find out and see if they have anything to do with 1386 Canton Avenue.
Or they could have, or maybe it's Riverside.
Oh, you're right. That could be.
I don't know.
I saw that name on one of the papers.
They have to unmute.
Right.
Somebody joined the meeting, and the title says Len G. So you're on mute, but we'd invite you to.
I just asked them to unmute.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, it's the property owner at the Randolph Ave site.
Oh.
I think. Who is Lenora Giacoloni?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Sorry.
Oh,
that would make sense. So it's not. You're right. It's
not for
Randolph.
Okay. So I guess what we've got left then is new business. Do we have any new business? Philip, do you know of any?
I do not know.
Arthur?
None here, but Wendy has her hand up, John.
I have something. Yes. Yeah, I'm so delighted that we're breaking early today, so I could share this with you folks. The reason why I was late tonight was because I was part of a really exciting meeting with the Neponset River Watershed Association, not as a representative of the Concom, but just as a concerned citizen of the town of Milton. And anyway, this is an initiative that they are taking part in with the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, that and it's being funded by the state through the MVP program. What is that? Municipal Vulnerability Program. And they're looking at basically climate adaptation and resiliency efforts in all the municipalities in their watershed. So Milton is one of 13, 14 communities in their watershed. And they are asking if if people in the towns would be willing to serve as a liaison to have 2 or 3 meetings in our town that would talk about any specific issue related to climate change and resiliency. So it's sort of a broad ask, and so they're looking for proposals from people that were at this meeting tonight. And something that came to my mind, well, you guys know how much I love rain gardens, right? And and you know how I love plants. And and I personally feel like there's not an issue in this world that a plant can't resolve, given the right time and place. So I was thinking that we've had a lot of interest coming here before us at the commission with rain gardens, and I thought that it might be of interest to the town if there were a couple of free workshops that just like at the library or something that we could talk about different ideas for rain gardens, ideas of plans and plants, and maybe have examples, pictures of successful rain gardens that we've seen here through the commission. But I got real excited about this idea. But before I proposed it to the folks at the Neponset, I'd love to just bounce the idea off you folks and see what you thought about it, if it might be something that you'd be in support of.
And what would the title would be workshop on rain gardens?
Yeah, like a hands-on kind of workshop, like depending on the time of year. I mean, obviously this time of year would probably be more of just, sitting around with pictures and a slideshow kind of thing. But maybe when the weather is warmer, we could have a hands-on sort of thing where people could get their hands dirty and maybe get up and close and personal with some plants. I don't know, maybe even like a guided tour of some of the rain gardens that we've got around town. Ooh.
Okay. Sounds like you're going to be the master of ceremonies on this one.
I mean, I would love to, yeah.
But
But
let me ask you
again,
this. Philip, you might have an answer to this because I know you've been signing us up for the different workshops at the MACC meeting in beginning of March. Is there anything, Wendy, you might know this, is there anything at the MACC conference at Holy Cross involving rain gardens? I know they've had it before over the years that I've been there. But that might give you some ideas because
yeah,
it's a big ask to get people, getting their hands, dirty, so to speak. And what I'm thinking of is that the MACC runs the soil, sampling, the I forget what they call the workshop, but you get in there and you look at the hydric soils, what the colors are, you learn the color charts, you get your hands dirty.
yeah,
It's a great workshop, actually. And you get to see it and feel it because it does feel different. So something like that would be good, but we don't want to reinvent the wheel. It might already
right.
be developed. We might have a curriculum in place, and I bet the MACC would know that. And you know who would know that is Kate Conley, because Kate Conley is our representative in a couple of cases. She's representing us, as town council, and she was the past president of the MACC.
Oh,
So,
you're kidding. I didn't know that.
yeah. And she's accessible, and she's at Murphy, Heslane, and Toomey, and it might be a good idea and she'd probably direct you
Mhm.
to the right person at MACC because I'm sure they have a curriculum developer or person in charge of that. What workshops are being presented.
I bet they do. That's a great idea, John. I definitely don't want to recreate the wheel on this. I've seen some other presentations that have been done by like Watershed Association people that are, less technical. And I think that what a lot of those presentations do is that they get people excited about the idea and in support of the idea. But when push comes to shove, I think people are kind of nervous about putting the shovel in the ground and doing this. And, it's not rocket science, but there are a few things to keep in mind. And I think that, the more information that we can give people to either do it themselves confidently or maybe hire a contractor to do it competently, the better. Mhm.
Why don't you reach out to? I'll text you or I'll email you her number. I mean, she's at Murphy Heslahane Toomey, but I've got her cell number somewhere in my phone, wherever my phone is. I'll text that to you. But
Thanks,
she's
John.
she's accessible and friendly and all that.
Cool.
She
Thank
can bring
you.
you. And it might be somebody else currently at. I mean, she's still there. She's on the board, but no longer president. All right, that's a good idea. Other updates, just a brief one. Our pedestrian bridge on Pope's Pond is kind of fallen behind schedule, so we tried to put it back on schedule. And this past week, I had a meeting with Marina Fernandez and as DPW director because town participation is going to be critical for us, and Professor Dulaski. So we're doing a site walk on Friday, the 6th of March. And we're waiting for the snow to go so we can actually get the location. The soil samplings are already, the testing has been done. So we're at the last spec stage before we send out a bid for fabrication. So we're making slow progress, but it's starting to speed up. And it should come to pass at a time where Beverly Park is going to be put in place. That has its own internal trails, and those trails are designed to connect to our project was to extend and meet the bridge to the existing trail that goes towards the north side, the trail closest to Sumner Street. And then the next step after the pedestrian bridge is in is to make it handicapped accessible all the way around. But we're making some progress on that one. And Arthur, can you give an update on the Marsh estuary rehabilitation?
That's also coming under the grants that Wendy was alluding to. And the deposit, there are two things. The Deposit River Watershed Association wants to work on a restoration initiative with respect to the channels and the runnels and the marsh between the I-93 ramp and a 0 Harriet Street over the Quincy line. That's a very fragile area. I think I may have mentioned in the past that it suffers compared to other salt marshes in that the silt that would naturally come down the Deposit River is blocked by the Baker Dam and has been for 200 years. So it's all the more imperative that that area, which is probably close to 50 acres, 33 of which are in Milton, be protected because otherwise the marsh could conceivably drown. And if it drowns, there's no protection whatsoever. And a lot of residences are at risk, infrastructure is at risk. This would have an impact upon, I would think, 2 Granite Avenue, a negative impact. It would across Granite Avenue. Right now, they're looking at doing this partly because the forecast is for at least monthly flooding of Lower Granite Avenue in the future if this is not taken care of. And if you want an idea of how bad this is going to be relative to sea level rise, which is what's going to impact the estuary primarily, there's a movie called Inundation District, which is the Mass Seaport underwater. And if you haven't had a chance to see that movie, it's an hour and 40 minutes long. And NEPRO sponsored it last Sunday at the Quincy Public Library. It's well worth taking in. One other thing that's going on, John, if I may, before I forget, if it's all right with you.
Sure.
There is under the coastal zone management funding through the state an initiative that's being led by Quincy and involving Milton and another number of towns coming down the South Shore through Hull to Cohasset and Situate to protect the coastlines. So we'll have more information on that once we get an idea whether or not there's a favorable response to the proposal that has already been submitted.
Hi, can you give us any advice on how to find that movie, Inundation District?
It's on
Can you get it
YouTube.
on YouTube or
Yes,
YouTube?
it's on YouTube.
Okay.
It may require a subscription if you don't have one. I'll take a look
To
around and see if
Nepra subscription?
Yahoo YouTube subscription.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if Nepra was,
No,
all
sorry.
right.
That was an instance where I did not say enough.
All right, good. Well, thank you very much. Anything else update-wise, new business? If not, then we're off until March 10th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right. Well, good. Thanks all. Good night. God bless. Thank you all.
Good night,
Good night, all.
everybody.
Good night.